All right, hammers up, everyone. 11.2 PTR Mythic raid testing Manaforge Omega. This is the first boss. I believe his name is the Plexus Sentinel. Now, this fight's pretty fun. You actually have to use your new Rikishi wraps. I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's the new artifact cloak that's kind of like the Heart of Azeroth. And it's pretty cool. In this fight, you're going to use it to go through walls and go through mechanics throughout the fight. I think this is a pretty cool first encounter. I would say from the first 3 bosses on Mythic that we tested, this was, for pugs, I would say this is probably going to be the hardest boss to do. The second and third weren't even, I think, really that mechanically intense. But here we go. So we're going to start the fight. Once again, this is a stream preview. So I'm actually talking over it. You're not going to hear me actually, comment. I'm not even talking when I'm streaming during these fights anyway. So cleanse the chamber. So here we go. We're going to pull the boss. I believe I will start out with it. So the boss has a few abilities. Manifest matrices. So he puts these circles around players that leave puddles on the ground. You're going to kind of want to clear the middle of the room, and you're going to see why in a little bit here. So they're going to kind of take that to the side, corners of the room. And now there's a tank mechanic that's going to come out as well. And you're going to see that here in a second. Obliteration Arcano Cannon. So it used to be that you can pre-bubble, pre-spell ward this ability, and it wouldn't spawn the pool, but Blizzard said, no, we're not going to make it that easy for you prop pallies. So you basically take this, run it out. You only have a little bit of room here. So it is based off of the fall off damage, so you don't want to be close to this, or else you're gonna see like the raid take a little bit of damage. I could have probably stuck myself in a corner there, but I kind of decided to go right here. You're gonna see, boom, raid takes a little bit of damage there, leaves a huge puddle on the ground. And now here's the mechanic that I was talking about. So the difference between heroic and mythic, in the intermission on heroic, this wall comes in on heroic during the intermission, and you have to kind of just like use your Rikishi wraps to torpedo through it. But now this also happens once per phase 1. So you're going to see again here, the wall's going to come. And as a tank, the wall will always come after your first tank run out. So the second I turn around here, I'm going to see it. You're going to see me. I'm going to use my Rikishi. Actually, I didn't use my Rikishi wrap at all because I was still bubbled. So that's kind of lucked out there if you're a prop pally. And to be fair, like, you can kind of run through that wall, and with a cooldown, you'll be okay. I mean, it took away like 40% of my health just running through it, natty. I think DPS might die. And also note that you have to be pointing your character forward when you're using your Rikishi wrap extra action button to kind of phase through the wall. Just throwing it out there. Now, there is another mechanic here where we do have to split up groups to take a stack. We have to stack and soak. You're going to see it here pretty quick. So there's the Manifest Matrices. This is just, the run out ability. And then there's the Eradicating Salvo Yami. Mm-hmm. What kind of name is that? Wait, hold on. It says Eradicating Salvo Yami, but just Salvo here. What is... Oh, it's on Yami. Okay, that's one of our DPS. God, I'm stupid. It's on our rogue. Okay, I'm going to get shit for this in this video for sure. So we kind of want to, I think what we did was, so it does 2 kind of like missiles at the raid. We have the melee soaking the first one, and the ranged DPS soaking the second one. It's very quick. So you see the first one happens here. Boom, you get knocked back. Immediately there's another one. Boom again. Now, personally, I don't think you get a debuff for taking that at all. I don't see why you just can't stack the same people. Maybe just raid damage. I don't know. Like I thought maybe that we get one hit and we take a debuff that you can't get hit again. But it's so fast and consecutive that I think if you just stack everyone or whoever's around, it has to have at least 5 people in it, pretty much. All right. So now we're gonna get, I believe, one more tank run out. Blood Decay is gonna run out. They can also just AMS and stack it on top of the previous one. And now intermission. We're gonna get knocked back. Sieve, Ink. I don't know what a Sieve is. Now, the biggest difference in Heroic is there's going to be these manifestations that spawn. And you have to DPS them while dodging everything. So right there, you could... I'm not sure if their DPS spawns are always in the same spot. I don't feel like they are. because we left our puddles here before and we didn't have to deal with it. So this is a little bit bad from where the tanks left the puddle. So I'm kind of just trying to like derange it, go in and out, do something to it. Yeah, this whole... So basically we have to make it through this entire maze, back to the boss, break his shield. So once this is over... Now, the way this phase is gone, all these globes here, I feel like from what we've seen, they're always in the same spot every single time. So you should always know where to go. And now there's another ad. So there's two ads. There's one up here, one down here. And then we're going to go. So you can see the wall is coming. I'm going to use my my Rikishi wraps to get through it. I'm going to show you that real quick here. Wall's coming. I Rikishi wrap through it. Dodge circles. Dodge Mario Brother lines. And break the shield. Now, a lot of this stuff is not doing a lot of damage. I sometimes just stood and got hit by the beams, and I was pretty much okay. DPS, not so much. But as a tank, you can kind of, you know, plant if you want to. I mean, I would try my best to move out, but there you go. We broke the shield. We're back into stage 1. And now we just rinse and repeat. And now we have more of the hallway to work with. So this boss basically works his way all the way to the end of the hallway. So now we can take this Arcano Cannon and just kind of like horse out and go way back here if we want to. You know, less damage for the raid. I decided to put it there just so I can get back for this first soak. So I got back for the soak. And I stood in both of them. Now, I'm not sure why we didn't get knocked back there. I'm not sure if whoever was targeted. Who got targeted there? Let me see. That was on, looks like a Paladin. It's very possible the Paladin might have bubbled. And that immunity caused the knockback to not happen. I don't know. But like every other time, we definitely got knocked back. Yeah, so the Holy Paladin got picked there. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you see right there, like I stood in both and like nothing happens. So cleanse the chamber. I believe cleanse the chamber is when the wall is going to come through. So the wall's going to come through here. Yeah, I can see it coming from afar there. And I'm going to Rikishi wrap through it. I turn off the other tank. He's going to run out with his Obliteration Arcano Cannon. Boom, boom, boom. Go right through. I just stood there. I think a lot of times during this fight, I just kind of wanted to test the damage to see what I can get away with. But there you go, the double missiles, more matrices for people to run out with. So obviously the goal here is to keep the middle lane kind of free. But honestly, I mean, based on where the ads are spawning, I don't think it's a bad idea to, you know, leave them. So matrices. So you see what I'm going to do here is I'm basically, because I can spell ward and I can bubble, it's just easier just to take the cannon and just stack it on your previous one just to minimize clutter on the ground. You know, the niches of a prop pally. But yeah, this fight, not that bad. I think out of the first 3 bosses, from a pug standpoint, this is probably going to be the tougher one. I think it's a bit more healing intensive. But here we go, Sieve. And they see right here, the ad is there. We're going to DPS it down. Now, this is a bit of a problem because our pool as tanks again blocked the way. Now, here's the cool part. So you can Rikishi wrap through these bubbles. If you don't, and you try to walk in these bubbles, you're literally stuck in these bubbles. Now, from what I've heard of other guildies, I think like you can jump over them. If you're like a demon hunter, I think you could blink through them. I couldn't spell ward through them, but I didn't try bubbling. But as of right now, the Rikishi wraps are what you can use to get through it like I did right there. Probably not a good idea because now I don't have a Rikishi wrap to go through here, so I just kind of pop a cooldown, pop Guardian, then I just walked through. Once again, just, you know, tank privilege and shit. And we're going to break this barrier again. People, yeah, everyone's getting low here. Probably might be people just not getting back in time. The Mario lines probably do hit DPS pretty hard. Once again, not so hard on the tanks. But yeah, I mean, so far, man, pretty fun encounter for the first fight. I do love a good first encounter where you're always defeating some sort of Guardian or a Sentinel to get into the meat and potatoes of the raid. Kind of reminds me of Sepulchre of the first ones. You know, I had to defeat that mechanical Guardian guy. Kind of looks like this guy too, just purple. So here I am again. I'm going to get my Arcano Cannon. I'm going to run my ass out. Just kind of chill over here. I could have gone further, but I mean, at this point, I just wanted to get back in for more DPS. DPS brain. But there you go. There was a knockback from the stacking. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything much more going on. We're just going to watch this until the kill happens. But yeah, so far, great raid testing. I do think Blizzard has definitely undercooked. I can't imagine the first 3 bosses are kind of like this easy. You might have already seen my other videos on the other bosses as well. I mean, we also had most of our guild here for Mythic raiding, which is we rarely ever have. But, you know, we're kind of sweating it up a little bit here. And we did have some friends of the guild as well in here that are also cutting edge raiders. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good time, and these bosses definitely seemed a little undercooked. But I also noticed the one thing is that not a lot of weak auras so far are needed for this raid, and that's kind of like what Blizzard wants, right? Blizzard's really working hard on making everything more visually appealing for you to be able to complete these raids, right? Their whole goal is they want players to have more access to the raids, even Mythic. So I think this tier, based on what I've seen so far, there's going to be a lot more guilds doing normal, a lot more guilds getting AOTC, but we don't know what Dimensius is like yet. And then a lot of other guilds are probably going to get themselves into Mythic raiding. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about the first boss of the raid. Pretty cool. And yes, that is a Superman crypto plushie toy. Thank you, Regal Cinema.